just making sure that the businesses are being conducted in a fair manner. You got to be fair with everybody when it comes to contracts. You can't be, in a position to where, okay, I know this person, or I have ties with this person, or this person is my family member. You got to be able to be fair when it comes to negotiating those contracts, and whoever that's suitable for the contract, that's who you put in position. You can't you serving all Hinds people. You're not serving just a certain shade of people. You understand what I'm saying? So you serving all people in Hinds, incorporated and uncorporated. So my thing is this: I will make sure that it's done in a fair manner, and I will make sure that those contracts are negotiated in a fair and balanced manner.
As sheriff, I want to sit at the table. I want to have a hand in who's working for the sheriff's department, who's providing for the sheriff's department. I want to be able to reach out to the vendors. Also, the vendors that are giving to me, I want to make sure that those vendors are the ones that can handle what we need, as well as uniforms, as well as contract services, cleaning, COVID cleaning. If a person comes in the office, I want to be part of that conversation to make sure they have the credentials to do what is expected of them.
Most certainly, I will patronize the business here in the county as it relates to uniform and our fleet. I'm an advocate of doing business throughout Hinds County, and that includes all aspects of the sheriff department as it relates to fleet and as well as uniforms. I would give all businesses an opportunity to get a piece of the pie.
Well, you would have to keep your business local if you're going to benefit local vendors. One thing I would like to do is beef up the Hinds County Reserve Division. They have two elements. They have a patrol division. They also have a fundraising division. They used to, and that is very strong because there are a lot of citizens in Jackson, men and women who are equally trained and have just as much experience as full-time officers. They're also good at raising funds.
Well, and I'm glad you asked that. When I was with the FBI police, I had that duty of looking at purchasing cars, uniforms, and oftentimes they have a bid process. Depends on the amount of money, of course. So, of course, we cannot just tag minority business. We would like to encourage minority business to participate in the bid process with any contract. We want to be fair and equitable with that without violating the law. I did tell you I'm an FBI agent. Okay.
I would say be visible services. I'll make sure that our employees the cars are marked for Hinds County, and just be visible actually in the communities.
Well, first of all, in our first 20 months at the sheriff's office, what we did, the budget runs about $30 million a year for the sheriff to operate. And that's just 90% of that is salary. What we did in our first 20 months was we were able to go in, readjust the salary, bring some people up to where they should be in the salary areas, as well as streamline the salary. We were able to save 9 jobs. 9 of those were certified deputies. Now, the sheriff's office has an old, depleted fleet of cars. Hinds County, as a rule, normally does not buy the sheriff's office vehicles. But we were able to go in by streamlining our budget, prepare the new budget. We presented a $1.6 million increase for the 2019-2020 budget, which we did receive. We purchased 10 new vehicles out of that budget. Now, if you understand budgets, you can't just go hire a body. What you got to do when you hire a person, you got to hire them, and you got to plan for uniforms, weapons, and benefits in salaries. So once you start putting your budget together and you determine what you want to try to hire in the next upcoming budget, such as the 2021 budget, which has already been presented. Now, I don't know what part of that they kept and what part of that they kicked out, but we did ask for an additional 10 deputies to be hired, as well as some other personnel. I think we got up around 14, as well as 14 additional vehicles. Now, how does that impact the community? If you're calling for assistance and you got a vehicle that's got over 350,000 miles on it, chances are you're going to have mechanical problems. What we did, we've been trying to get some of those old vehicles out of the fleet and replace them with new vehicles. And if you notice, you start seeing some Dodge Durangos and some new Dodge Chargers from the Hinds County Sheriff's Office that's been rolling because we did put brand new vehicles on the road.
Well, when you're talking about uniformity as far as cars, the grant process or the lease process would be the route that you go in law enforcement. In terms of utilizing black-owned businesses, if you have black-owned businesses who are in the state contract process with police-issued vehicles, then of course, if they bid, we would make sure and ensure that they have an opportunity to secure those contracts. Whether it's the lighting, the blue lights that go in there, the sirens, all the equipment that goes into a vehicle. If they're equipped to do the job, it's about who's equipped to do the job for me. Who can do it at a reasonable rate to where we don't exceed what the budget states that we can spend.
Well, first of all, on anything the Sheriff's Department purchases, we would take bids. And I think, from when I was with the Sheriff's Department, there was businesses in the city that the Hinds County purchased from. So I think anytime at all possible, if there's any local services that can be rendered to the Sheriff's Department, then they should be getting the first opportunity after bids are taken if there's multiple areas. But you always have to take, in certain dollar amounts, you always have to take bids. But I think you should always use local businesses first.
Well, like I said, it's still within the rules of the guideline of high officials. There's always behind the scene that we don't see or know until you actually get in there to find out what you can and cannot do. But we definitely need adequate working equipment for the officers and feasible good transportation in order to perform the duty before them.
Okay, car fleets. Everything that the Sheriff Department buy is under state contract. So that's just one of the things we would have to look at. Board of Supervisors and the state regulate what we give the vehicles and where we purchase them and what we purchase them for, because that's under state contract. Cars on the state contract, uniforms on the state contract, and equipment. If black businesses have agreement with the state for us to purchase it from the black businesses, I would be glad to purchase cars, uniform, and equipment, because everything we purchase is under state contracts.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. I think that all tax dollars, as it relates to the Hinds County Sheriff's Office for services provided to the Sheriff's Office, should be spent within Hinds County. If there are some entities that are not within Hinds County, then of course you may have to go outside of the county. But anything else should be spent in Hinds County as it relates to uniforms, car fleets, equipment for the Hinds County Sheriff's Office as well. Now, as it relates to black businesses or who exactly get the contract, that's kind of out of the hands of the Hinds County Sheriff's Office. Of course, that is something that has to be determined through the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, because they are responsible for the budget. But of course, we would all like to promote black businesses and local businesses as well. But again, tax dollars regarding anything about the Hinds County Sheriff's Office, equipment, car fleet, should be spent, first of all, within Hinds County.
Well, first of all, I will make sure that we have the oversight of those vendor lists and ensuring that there is a high degree of diversity in people who are bidding for these contracts, but more importantly, that they are local vendors. I think we have the talent in Jackson Hinds County to be able to have vendors not only bid on these contracts, but secure these contracts. And minorities should be having an opportunity to be the prime on a lot of these contracts. So I'm committed to that. As a former city council president, the city of Jackson, that was one of my pledges to the community, and I certainly honored that pledge by ensuring that that happened at the city level, and I certainly will continue that effort at the county level.